Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob and John. Oh, yeah.
And we're live. So just introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Gabe Aranda. I'm with the band Aranda. It's comprised of me and my brother, Damian Aranda. We've got James Connor on guitar. We've got Jeff Hall on drums. And we've got Chavez Solis on bass. And we're from Oklahoma City. And obviously me and my brother have been in the band since birth, feels like. But really, I've been in a band with my brother since fifth grade. So we've been in music our whole lives.
Are you the older or younger?
I'm the younger,
You're
16
younger.
months.
I feel you. I'm the younger brother too.
Are you?
Yeah.
I know it used to mean a lot. Now it doesn't really mean much anymore, does it?
No, not really.
As we're getting older, it's like, we're about the same age, really.
Yeah.
So what's up?
I'm gonna start you with a hard question here.
Oh,
What do you want to leave as your legacy?
Oof. Well, I mean, gosh, number one, a good dad. I mean, I've got 3 kids, and I had some good role models growing up, and that I would consider like pivotal role models in my life. So, I mean, the legacy as a dad is a pretty huge deal. You know, if we're talking about music, I mean, are we talking about just anything?
Just some whole, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's cliche sounding, but you know, you want to leave the world in some way better than when you found it. You know, you want to your relationships and all that stuff. I don't know about you. Sometimes I think about it as like, man, when I go, what are they going to say at my, whether it's a funeral or memorial service or whatever? But I really hope that they say, you know, Gabe was a good guy, an honest guy. He helped me out when I was in trouble. You know, all those things. Fed me when I needed food. All that stuff, man. But that's the legacy of just being a great person, I think, is paramount. But being a father is huge. Obviously, and a husband too. I'm married as well. So yeah, that's not terribly hard, but yeah, it does make you think. Like, you don't walk around or drive around thinking about that stuff.
If you could pick one song to describe you as a person, not your own music, that you can send somebody without no caption, no anything, they'll just understand.
Jeez. Wow, that's a hard one. Just because I've never thought in those terms.
I have too.
Tell me yours first. Let me see. Just so I can I can think about it a little bit too.
All right, Pop Evil, Torn to Pieces. And Nobody Knows My Sorrow.
Okay. Dang, it's.
I know it's deep, but
no, I was like, I feel like we need to close this down and have a counseling session.
No, like if you listen to you'll understand. I mean, by the third.
I definitely know the Pop Evil song. Which the other song was?
Nobody Knows My Sorrow. It's now I can't think of who sings it, but it's like from the 60s.
Oh, okay.
It's a very old song. Well, I don't want to say old, but it's.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's tough. I don't even know if anything would be accurate. Hard to handle. Superstition. Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
What else? And honestly, outside of the titles, that really kind of gives people a glimpse of like what my spirit is made up of. You know, those type of songs move me. The content of those songs move me like to my core. So I guess maybe that kind of equates to your question. Let's move on.
All right. All right, this should be a fun one.
Okay.
2-day festival.
Mm.
First day is Friday, all female fronted. The second day is whoever you want, mixed matched.
Oh man.
I'll give you 5 apiece.
Mm. Well, I probably wouldn't be. It's probably no secret, like or this isn't. Probably Hailstorm.
Okay.
So I mean, I have to go older school too, like Pat Benatar, Janis Joplin, Aretha.
I'd buy that ticket right now.
Oh, me too. I'm thinking about it. Like, what would be the dream? Nick Acosta. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's somebody I've seen her once live, and it's unbelievable. Yeah. Okay. And so day 2 would be what? Let's see. It can be anybody. Is that what you said?
Anybody.
I mean, I'm showing my age here, but it's like for me, Zeppelin, Hendrix, the Beatles. Oh, notice there's not going to be a lot of new bands for me, and then that's not because that I don't like them. It's just this is a great question of like these are people I'll never have a chance to see, really, you know. Oh man, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway, Al Green, Jefferson Starship. There's, yeah, 5's good.
Right, so
How about you? I want to know yours. I want to know your 5 on the any band.
All right. Well, female fronted. I'm gonna have to say Forever May Fall, Dying Oath, Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. Prime Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw Janis on there.
Man, I mean, I just think that show would be phenomenal.
And you can't forget Kitty. So
no, definitely not. But Aretha, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to see that live and in person, it had to be quite the experience. Oh man, there's a lot of female fronted bands.
Yeah.
I feel like now, you know, like more. It's like a resurgence in a good way, you know.
There's a lot more than there used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it's great.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, even if it's what do you call it, metalcore to what do you call it, just pop, it's still cool.
It's
so
some of my favorite voices are female voices, you know. So it's fun to hear them coming back and like putting some strong bands together.
All right, so I'm not going to mention the person's name, but
okay.
I saw this going around. What band do you not want to follow?
Like now, or just any band ever?
It could be now.
Okay. I mean, there's probably a lot, but I mean, I think. Oof. I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to get up there after Mick Jagger, you know, like in his prime, or who else am I thinking? I mean, I've already said Zeppelin. If you can't tell, that's probably for me the greatest, in my opinion. You know,
okay,
rock bands. Robert Plant, unbelievable.
But speaking of Zeppelin, what's your favorite song by them? Like I know it's hard to pick, but like
if you Ramble On is pretty amazing. I think what always made the older Zeppelin songs, the early Zeppelin songs, was just the fact that Robert Plant. I'm always focusing on singers because that's what I do. But
yeah,
he was so young, like 19, when he was cutting these records, and people are still trying to emulate that, and the amount of like poise and experience and dynamic in his voice at that time, and the way they were able to capture that is just beyond me. He was just a freak of nature. And Aerosmith, God, I'd hate to follow Steven Tyler too, like just that band. And like, who else? I mean, shoot, we've played with Seven Dust. I don't like following them. Well, never have followed them, but I wouldn't want. You know what I mean?
That's what I was getting at. Another musician said that they don't know.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to follow Seven Dust.
They have, and they'll never know.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that.
No.
And those, fortunately enough, we got to be really good friends with those guys, and so that's a good thing. But it's doesn't change the fact that, yeah, I wouldn't want to. Well, John's just he's got such a rapport with the crowd. Number one,
I've never missed a show, and
yeah,
they've been together. They've been together for like 20 something years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't think I've missed a show that they came to New Jersey.
Dude, that's awesome. True fan. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're the kind of people that we as artists and musicians love, But yeah, that'd be. I mean, but yes, for me, yeah, of course, Zeppelin, or Jimmy. Can you imagine following Jimi Hendrix back in the 70s, like, or in the late 60s? Like,
no.
Never seen anything like that before. Here's our opener, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, no.
Setting his guitar on fire and shit. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks.
All right, so I'm going to get into like two of your songs, and then I want to talk about the tour that's coming up.
Okay, cool.
So, One More Lie, who is that about?
So, man, how do I do this without...
You can use fake names if you have to
conceal identities.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way kind of around it. It's a song about betrayal. Let's see.
Did Say Person ever hear the song?
Oh yeah. Yeah, said person knows the song. Yeah, and said person knows it was about her. That's probably as far as I want to go with that, really.
Okay. No, it's a really good song, though.
Thank you, man. Yeah, when we wrote that song, I remember going into the studio, and Damien had just the riff going, and with the syncopated drums and and immediately that melody, and that song melodically wrote itself really fast, but the subject matter was one that kind of just was born out of the experience because what had happened at that time. And so anyways, that's that song.
So you're leaving for tour in November.
Yes. November 10th? November 10th, I think, is our first one. It's a short run, but we've been really out of touring, in general for about 4 years, really, like solid touring. So this is kind of one, since we released this new record, we really wanted to get into the markets where we've historically done well and that we've got a great fan base in these cities, and just wanted to really be able to perform a lot of these songs from the record to a live audience and get our feet wet again, and really start kind of pushing towards doing more touring and doing more shows.
But are you going to, on on your set list? Is there, like, what are your staples that you have to play?
For us, I mean, One More Lie, Satisfied is that song really resonated with a lot of people. And so, yeah, that one's a staple. We do one off of our first record called Why You Want to Bring Me Down, where we just kind of have this, it kind of goes into this jam shtick kind of thing where Damien plays the guitar while I'm holding the guitar up like this, and he's playing it with his hands. And then we have a deal where we ask the audience to throw up a boot. And for some reason Damien started calling it Das Boot and announcing it as Das Boot. And it just kind of stuck, and our fans love it and we have fun doing it. And so it's just kind of a fun song to do. And we generally, if we don't end with that one's later in the set usually. Trying to think of what else.
Who are you going on tour with?
So we're going out with Shallow Side, and they were nice enough to jump on this little run with us, because it's not really, like I said, it's not a long run, but I don't know. Hopefully that means they just kind of felt like it'd be a good fit and they wanted to play with us. I'm just really looking forward to getting out there and hitting stages again. It's been too long, and it's something you miss when you're away from it. You don't realize how ingrained that stuff is, especially when you've been doing it like me since I was a kid. When you're away from it, there's a piece of you, and it might not be the most healthy thing, but there's a part of your psyche that's affected, like when you've been told, when you've kind of gotten some of your self-esteem, and like I said, this is an unhealthy way to manage your mental health, but when you've been told, great things about your performance ever since you were a little kid, that can innately become part of what makes you tick up here, right? And so that inevitably has been a part of, what I've dealt with even these last 4 years of not doing it, is kind of figuring out how to cope and do life without that. And so part of that was recording and being in the studio and just writing and things like that. But others was just having to kind of realize that that's an unhealthy, kind of an unhealthy way to be. So, was that your question? Yeah. Was there another part of that question?
No, but that's
okay. Just want to make sure. Always when I see interviews and people start on these rampages in a whole nother direction, I'm always like, oh man, I really wanted to know the answer to that.
So I'm going to throw a fun one at you.
Okay.
Last Supper scenario. Who's your 12 and you have to have one female?
Last Supper? Wow.
It could be musicians. It could be cartoon characters. It could be anybody you want there.
Okay.
And if you need a kiddie table, let me know. Okay.
So it's hard to not put my dad and my grandfather in there. Superman, Incredible Hulk. Wow. That's a harder question than it sounds. Without just picking family, you know what I mean? It's kind of the default answer. Who else? Corey Glover from Living Color.
Okay.
Robert Plant. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sylvester Stallone. My brother. Got it. My wife. Is that 10? I think that's 10. I'll say it's 10. Two more. Will Ferrell and Michael Jordan.
All right, that'd be cool.
I don't know. It's kind of an eclectic group. There'll be some interesting conversation around the table, probably.
I have to excuse myself for 1 second.
Yep, you're good.
And I'm back.
Oh, it's quick.
Just had to open the door. So if you weren't playing music, what would you be doing?
Well, probably, honestly, what I do a lot is I'm in construction. I do tile. I've got a tile business, actually, that I've had for several years. I've always been into building stuff and not necessarily home improvements, but I've just always had kind of a hands-on, artistic. I've just liked using my hands for building things. And so I got into that when I got out of high school, and we started touring. And when I got out of that, I was asked, I went and started working for this guy. He was like, "Man, why are you still working for me? Why don't you go do your own thing tile wise? And that way you could control when you do tile and when you tour." Yeah, which at the time was like a light bulb going off that I don't know why I hadn't thought of it in those parameters before. But so I started doing tile on my own, and now I've got like 5 employees that work for me. So I manage most of the jobs now. Yeah. And so I can do that from the road because, as you guys all know, music doesn't necessarily pay what you think it pays. So you have to, especially when you're touring, you've got to figure out how to make ends meet because you're already paying, all your guys and everybody that helps make that thing go. And a lot of times you're paying them out of peanuts or not a lot of money, So it's not for the faint of heart. You got to really, really love performing and love touring, I think. But that's what I'd be doing. I'd be doing tile probably full time.
Full-time tile.
Yeah.
If you could pick your own bill, who would you want on it? And where?
You mean like if we were performing or just a bill that I was watching? We were performing? Yeah. Okay. So probably Blackstone Cherry.
Okay.
I got that awesome Southern rock guitar driven. Who else? Pop Evil, because those guys are such good friends of ours, and awesome band and just awesome people. That would be a fun. But you're talking more just like a one-night show.
Yeah, just a one-night
show. Bands from the past too.
Yeah, anybody.
Fucking Led Zeppelin. I mean, sorry, I keep going back to that well, but
yeah.
Let me pick one more. Well, Living Color, huge. That band was a pivotal part of my growth as a singer, artist, thinker, etc. Those guys did so much for music, in my opinion, during a time when I was really, really young and very influential. And which we actually have Vernon Reid playing on. What full circle moment for us was we have him playing on one of our songs on our new album. So it was just kind of an amazing full circle moment for us. Yeah, that'd be a pretty good bill, I think.
All right, I'm going to do this a little bit early. You can flip it on me. You can ask me anything.
Ask you anything?
Yep.
Number 1, what was the first concert you've ever been to?
Are you saying arena show or a small venue?
Let's say arena. First big concert you went to?
The first Family Value store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 1998.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. What else? Let's see if I know I got another one. So let's say, what's your favorite? Sounds great. What's your favorite candy? Are you a chocolate guy, first of all?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite chocolate? Like bar, whatever.
Probably Reese's Pieces.
My man.
Like anything
Yeah.
peanut butter.
Dude, me too. I was telling my doctor at my annual exam a couple days ago. That's my Achilles heel. Like,
Yeah.
and my dad, she's talking to me about my diet, and I'm like, look, I've got to be honest with you. My diet consists of freaking Reese's peanut butter cups. Like, it's terrible. I mean, that's not all it is, but I said, that's my Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Like, okay, your blood work's starting to make sense. And I was like, yeah, if you're telling me it's showing that I've got a high content of peanut butter in my blood, then yeah. Okay. You want me to give you one more?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What got you so passionate about your favorite bands? Like, you tell me you go to all of the shows. What gives you that drive? Is it a loyalty? Is it just I just love this music so much?
It's loyalty and it's my happy place.
Okay.
There could be thousands of people behind me or whatever the case may be. Yeah, of course I'm watching my back because I'm normally in the mosh pit, but
Yeah.
it's one of my happy places. Like
Okay.
it could be an hour, 2 hours, whatever the case may be. It just releases everything that's going on.
It's awesome. And that, I think, as any artist will tell you, is that's why we do it. And when you get those people that gravitate towards what you're saying, there's no feeling like it when you just feel like you've actually helped somebody get through something, even like with just specific songs. I've had people. I wrote a song that was like about kind of mental health, and it had to do with my dad at the time, who was struggling really bad with some, not schizophrenia, but it was more like paranoid delusions and things like that. And that song was born out of that. And man, so many people have come up and just, have been affected and helped, in their words, by those lyrics. And obviously when I wrote it, it was more cathartic for me. So I guess it makes sense that they would feel that sense of, healing from it too. So yeah, dude, you're the reason we do it. That makes me happy to know that is your motivation. And I like the loyalty too.
Are you the type of person to have like a pen and paper next to the bed? Like if you wake up, write a lyric down, go back to bed? Or
No. I've always, and this is probably why me and my brother have always worked really good together, is he's like this too, but he's definitely more of that guy. He would be the guy to have a song lyric and have to write it down, yeah, and go back to sleep. I'm the type of guy that wakes up with like a melody, and even if it's just a fragment, and I'm grabbing a voice recorder to record it, because I know, number one, this was a very spontaneous kind of divine thing that has been put into my brain at this moment. And if I wait another 5 minutes, it'll disappear. And so that's the type of person I am. I always think more in melody than I do lyrics. Lyrics come for me after, as far as a songwriter goes. Melody's paramount for me. And then it's like I build the song around that.
It's not clear at all. I'm trying to answer your question. Okay, well, I'm trying.
Since I'm not a musician at all, like I mess around with the guitar here and there.
Okay.
Because you just said brown punch.
When you're singing, like I never understood, closing your eyes. Is that to control your breathing and everything else, or the lights, or
no? It's more about kind of being in the moment and expressing from inside out, where sometimes you get distracted, or at least this is just my own experience. You get distracted by what you're taking in, with your eyes. That when you close your eyes, you're just able to, I don't know, you're able to concentrate more inwardly in what you're trying to express. And it's probably mimicking from just what you've grown up watching people do. And so there's an element of that you just, as you learned to do it, it's just something that kind of naturally happens. And there's certain songs too that you don't do that. There's certain songs that they're real, like we've got a song called Stand. That's a little more in your face. That's one I really want to look and see everybody. Like, I want to connect energy wise with people. But when you're trying to convey, I think it's really that when you're trying to convey something real emotional, sometimes closing your eyes helps you get there better, or at least it feels that way.
Okay. So if you could pick one of your songs to be in a movie, what movie would it be?
So, what songs in a movie? So it's not a movie, but we've been trying. Actually, that song that Vernon played on is called Underdog, which obviously speaks for itself.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get that on Cobra Kai. And so any kind of Karate Kid movie like that, this song would be perfect for. Don't know if it'll get on, but we're friends with Billy Zabka, who's the actor, obviously Johnny, but he also executive produces that show, and I keep hammering him. And I watch the show and like it, and I see what all the music is. There's really no original, like, new music being played on there, but I'm like, dude, please, just give us a shot. Just give us a cameo.
So what was your favorite music video you've done?
Favorite music video that we've done?
Yeah.
Why You Want to Bring Me Down? And honestly, that's because, frankly, that's the only real video we've ever done, like real video. We've done some that are super, super low budget, but as far as something that just we were able to take an idea and run with it, Why You Want to Bring Me Down would be the one. We had to get a bunch of our friends in it, and that's always fun. A bunch of pretty girls got to be on it, so that always, that makes it nice.
So what's your comfort song?
Comfort song?
Yeah.
Probably Donny Hathaway. I've seen so many faces in my life and times. I've sung a lot of songs. I've made some bad rhymes. I've acted out my life in stages. There's something about his voice that just soothes me. So anyways, that's We're Alone Now. See, I just closed my eyes. I didn't even think about it. I saw myself in the camera closing my eyes.
I was just always wondering because I get it, but I didn't get it. Like, why?
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand why that would be. That's actually a good question that I've never heard before, but made perfect sense when you asked it.
So what's your favorite tour you've been on?
So we've always been on good tours. We went out with Seven Dust. We've been out with Rev Theory. Been out with Pop Evil. But my favorite and was with Three Doors Down and Daughtry. And
that must have been a hell of a that must have been a hell of a time.
Man, just such, good people, and because we're, I still say, I mean, we're not anybody as far as fame goes or anything like that, but they just treated us like equals, fed us well, like we're pretty low maintenance when it comes to like what makes you happy on the road. And it's like, man, give us a good parking space, give us a dressing room, feed us well, and be cool. And that happened night in and night out with their crew and our crews. And we just had a lot of fun. And I still remain good friends with those guys to this day.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
So what was the best advice you were ever given?
That I was ever given?
Yep.
So my grandpa, which today's his birthday, he passed away in 2007, but today's his birthday. So that's interesting that we're touching on him. But he always told me to, when drinking, always drink in moderation. You never want to lose control of your body. Always stay in control of your body was one of his big things that he would say. Never do anything to the point to where it puts your body and your mind obviously in a state that's out of control where you can't handle yourself or handle your environment. I've always remembered that and always tried to adhere to that. Now, not saying under the right circumstances, I haven't gotten crazy and, that happens, but that always stuck with me. He had all kinds of little things like that. It was always take care of your back. And, even when I was like 15-year-old kid, it was like, you only get one back, Now I know what he was talking about as I'm getting a little older, like start getting back pain and you're like, crap, he was right. But yeah, I mean, for lack of maybe more time to think about it, that was a good piece of advice that I definitely adhered to and stuck with my whole life.
Do you have any advice for anybody getting into the industry now?
Well, number one, I get guys, in bands or that want to be in bands come up to me a lot and just ask kind of that same question. And I always say, number one, if you really want to take this all the way, you have got to have a passion for it. And it can't be a passion for money. It's got to be a passion for the music, because that's what's going to drive you when all that other stuff fails. And number two, I tell them, if you're going to start a band, you have got to start a band with guys that you're going to be able to live with, for countless days, months, that you can stay together long enough with to get good. So many bands break up before they even scratch the surface of their potential just due to the hang being shitty, and nobody getting along, and boom, we broke up. We lost our drummer. I hear it all the time. And I'm like, man, the hardest thing is to find 4 or 5 or however many in your group, guys that are one dedicated to the music, that believe in it and want to get better, want to get that chemistry and want to, take over the world if you can,
Do you have any messages for your fans?
Oh man, plenty. Number one, obviously, is a big fat thank you for just being with us, especially those from the beginning. I mean, and the beginning is kind of a sliding scale for us because we've literally been performing since we were kids. So a lot of people here in our hometown, Oklahoma City, have really been following Damien and I since we were, 15 years old. So thank you for those that were there from that time, those that were there when we released our first big album in 08, and that have stuck with us since then. Such a big thank you, and thank you for being patient with us and realizing that we have lives too, and sometimes music isn't at the top of that, and performing isn't at the top of that. Sometimes it's, I got to take time out. I want to be around when my kids are growing up. I need to be a good husband, etc. And sometimes touring has to take a back seat to that, and performing, etc. But man, our fans are just, they're the best, because they really are, like you said earlier, the word loyalty. It's just, they're so loyal and really believe in what me and Damien are doing. So just a big thank you to them.
So while I still have you on here, do you want to promote the tour and where you're going to be at?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. And we would love to see you guys out in November. Hopefully after this run, there'll be more runs, but with the way the world is, man, you never know. So if you get the opportunity to come see us with Shallow Side, come see us. Starts in November. I've got it here. November 10th, we'll be in Wichita at Barleycorns, Wichita, Kansas. November 11th, we'll be in Rock House, which is in West Dundee, Chicago area. And man, I can't wait to see you guys. WIIL, Will Rock. Love you guys out there. November 12th, we'll be at the Back Bar in Janesville, Wisconsin, which is super close to Madison. And Madison is just one of our home cities. We almost consider it home as well. They've treated us, WJJO has treated us like family since the beginning. And it's something we could never repay. So we're super thankful and excited to get out there and rock their socks off again. November 17th, Kiss Bar and Grill in Springfield, Missouri. So big shout out to you guys. Hope to see you guys out in Springfield. The 18th of November, Rev Room in Little Rock. Love our Little Rock people too. And then we come back home November 19th, VZD's right here in Oklahoma City, historic bar and music venue. So looking forward to seeing all our OKC people out here and rocking the house. And then November 26th, we're going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma with Texas Hippie Coalition. And all these are with Shallow Side as well. And so we're doing that, except for that one, I think. Is that right? I don't want to say. They might be on that one too. If there's one show that they might not be on, it might be that one, because it's a benefit. Cancer Sucks at the Canes Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So can't wait to do that, and can't wait to get back on stage with the Texas Hippie Coalition guys. So
you can get all the tickets online, right?
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I think that's the part I'm not in control of, but from what I understand, you can get all the tickets online, each at the individual venues' websites. Yep.
So which platforms are you on?
As a band, we're on IG, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and we're on Twitter, but man, we're on Facebook. IG is kind of the one that we tend to gravitate to, because for me it's just simple. TikTok we're putting some more effort into, because I can see, obviously it's grown into a monster, and it's a great tool. But it's just, I'm not built like that, man. Like I feel like, especially when we're not touring, it's very hard to create content and do content, especially around our home lives and things like that. So sometimes it seems like we're on a hiatus, and it's really just because, I don't want to get on there and, take selfies of myself and take my shirt off, and you know what I mean, and just try to get attention and likes. I'd probably get some dislikes for the shirt thing though. But yeah, we're on all the ones that are, that are pertinent right now that to help try to boost your fan base and try to get the word out about you. But man, so much going on. The internet is such a vast place, and
yes, it is.
We were just talking about that today. How much talent there is out there that we can all see now. Whereas 10 years ago, it might not have been. It was a lot harder to like find, whether it's singers, guitar players, any instrument, dancers. Like 10 years ago, it would take a search to really find like an upper echelon, and you'd get 5 or 6. Now, I mean, I can probably scroll through for 20 seconds and find 5 people that I would go, these people sing better than I do, and like just and have no fans or tour or band or anything like that. But it's so different now, man. I think it's a good thing, because I think it pushes all the young people to strive for something higher. Like when you wanted to be a good guitar player back when we were growing up, it's like you had to go get the Guitar World magazine, get in the tablature,
find the
now,
tabs.
Yeah, and exactly. And now it's
a click of a button. You can have everything.
YouTube, boom.
Yeah, same thing with you need lyrics to something, you can find it.
Man, it's so easy now. I know. Oh, I could have used that 10 years ago.
But I would like to thank you for your time. This is going to be on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Okay.
And if you guys are not following, please follow.
Absolutely.
I hope you have an amazing tour and be safe.
Appreciate it.